One of the things that on that very subject is going on right now seems to be in Germany. There is a thought of a synodal path that seems to want to say, well, we can change the teachings, particularly on sexual lifestyles and so on. Do you have any thoughts on that before we go back to Cardinal Ratzinger and Pope Benedict?
The 10 Commandments were given by God to Moses. And John Paul II says that even before God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses, he already wrote them in the human heart. And my years in the office for interreligious dialogue, I could meet Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus. Most of what God tells us in the 10 Commandments are realized also by Muslims and Buddhists, and so there may be mistake in one minor point or the other. But most people know what is honesty, what is chastity, what is truth. The human being has no authority to change any of the 10 Commandments. We cannot and we should not, even if they are not popular, even if they are not easy. They don't change. 2 and 2 are 4. Won't change, even when the child who calculated made a mistake. So that's what it is. It isn't we who make what we believe, but we receive. Which means there are some things that are so, and they don't change. There are some areas where we can have opinion, and where we can grow in our knowledge. Let us say now, slavery. In the days of St. Paul in the New Testament, in those days, slavery was still practiced, and the Christian didn't realize that it isn't correct. But gradually then, humanity saw the truth there. It is very different when you examine God's rule for the family, God's rule for the individual, and matters that touch relation between men and women. They are not subject to human opinion. Otherwise, we are like those students of mathematics who got answers which a good professor cannot accept because they accuse the professor of being judgmental. Oh, Lord, help us. You don't want arithmetic then. So we cannot also change what we believe, nor the constitution of the church, nor the 10 Commandments, nor let us say that Christ made the church and he made bishops and they are to be men. Now, the church has no power to change that. And John Paul II said that if Christ saw that women would be priests, you know that there are some famous women, beginning with his mother, the number one holiest person would have been a super priest. And Mary Magdalene and all those women who followed him, the apostles were not even on Calvary. Only John was there. And on Easter Day, it was the women who persevered. So if anything at all, they were very, very loyal. But we can't change what Christ has made. It is like doctrine on the Holy Eucharist. If a synod is studying our faith and following tradition and church teaching, correct. But if it means free for all, where every individual pumps out that individual's opinion, then we are not talking of our faith anymore. It is the formula for confusion. It is the pity. It should not be. So there are actually things we believe, and there are actually things we don't believe. Somebody has to look after that in the church. But there is another virtue called objectivity and mathematical exactness. That one respects nobody. So you may be a very nice person, but you don't know arithmetic. So the wrong answers are as many as there are students who don't know arithmetic. The correct answer is only one. Will you consider the professor to be dictatorial and Hitleristic and Napoleonistic because he became judgmental? He said that some answers are not correct. You are not serious. Even if you have football, soccer, there must be some rules. You can't just have soccer and every player does what he likes and tells the referee, you must not be judgmental. You are not serious. You are going to end up with broken bottles and people fighting it won't be soccer anymore. The doctrine of the church is much more serious than football. So there are actually things we believe, and there are actually things we don't believe. Somebody has to look after that in the church. That's what it is. Isn't it a matter of joy that we have that? Or you want a religion in which there are no rules? You are not serious. Where are you going to end up?